Welcome to the Heart of a Viking. This channel offers elementary art lessons taught by Mrs. Minto from the Cape Henlopen School District in Delaware. I look forward to virtually creating with you. There are new lessons posted weekly. Subscribe to the channel to make sure you don't miss a single one. So go grab your art supplies and your thinking caps and let's begin. Well, welcome back, second grade artists. So today we're going to be quilling a snowflake. First, we're going to be drawing a snowflake. So what I'm doing here is on the back of my paper, I am practicing how to draw a snowflake. So there's lots of different varieties. I'm using a technique right now where I'm just crossing lines. I'll also use a technique where I'm making little dots. And then finally, I'll make a technique where I cross the lines like this, but then I add a few extra little flares. So little diagonal lines that make it look like the snowflake has ice crystals on the end of each of the lines. And then finally, when I'm done practicing, I'm going to turn my paper over to the front and add some snowflakes to the front of my work of art. And I would like to focus on having the snowflakes on the edges because eventually we're going to be gluing a quilled snowflake to the center of your blue piece of paper. So you might as well focus on putting these lovely white snowflakes on the edges so they don't get covered up with your quilled snowflake later. So flipping back over to the other side on the back of your paper, we're going to practice one more thing. When I was making my snowflakes, I was pressing pretty hard to get a nice bright white. But now I want to press a little bit lighter because what I'm drawing now are wind. And when you draw wind, you can't really see wind in real life. So when I draw wind, I like it to be subtle or quiet or light. So I'm using my pencil again, but I'm pressing really softly this time to make these wind whips that kind of go and swirl across my page, similar to Vincent van Gogh style. When you're done practicing, you can flip back to the front and you can make it as windy as you would like on the front of your paper. A little wind, a lot of wind, whatever you prefer. The winter always makes me feel cold, so I'm probably going to add a lot of wind to mine. Just remember, don't press too hard, keep these light. Okay, so now we're going to totally put that to the side and go ahead and get your cardboard tube that you have. Pick off any of the paper that might still be left and then flatten your tube like mine. I kind of put it on the table and just pressed down, so I flattened it out. Now I'm going to do a little bit of math. Oh man, I know, sometimes math sneaks into art without me knowing. And I want to have my tube across in front of me, so sideways in front of me. Then at the bottom, I want to start cutting and cut straight up through the middle, just like that, so that I cut my tube in half. Okay, so now take those two pieces and push them back together as if you're trying to put a puzzle back together. Fantastic. So now you're going to pick up one of the halves and cut it in half. It is extremely important that you cut in the same direction as before. Last time, we picked up the tube and we cut straight up from the bottom to the top. I'm going to do the exact same thing. Pick up one of these sides and cut from the bottom to the top. Then, as soon as I'm done, repeat with the other side, and then pause for a minute and put your puzzle back together. Think of this as a puzzle. So I'm putting all these little pieces back together as if it were a puzzle. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to take these four pieces that have been put back together like a puzzle, and we're going to cut each one of these in half. I need to remember to continue to cut from the bottom to the top. I should never be cutting across my tubes. All right, so let's get started and let's make sure that I'm cutting in the right direction too. All right, I'm gonna pick up my first one, then get my scissors, and I'm going to make sure that I cut from the bottom to the top. Not from the side, never from the side, from the bottom to the top. All right, here we go. No, Mrs. Minto, that's not right. Okay, there we go. Bottom to top. There we go. Catch my two little pieces. Perfect. Those are actually totally done now, so I'm going to put those off to the side. Okay, so here's the next one. Let's see if I do it right. No, Mrs. Minto, that's not right. No, no, no. Oh, shoot. Okay. No, that's not right either, Mrs. Minto. Oh my goodness, she's making me nervous. Okay, that's better. From bottom to top. That's the right direction. Okay, those are done. Mrs. Minto, no. No, no, no. Okay. Shoo. She's making me so nervous. Bottom to top, just like that. Yep. All right, let's see if she gets it right this time. Yes, that's right, Mrs. Minto. Okay, bottom to top. Perfect. All right, so check and make sure. You should have 8 little pieces. These kind of look like leaves in a way. Make sure you have 8 little pieces just like me, and they should be all connected. They should not fall apart or be cut in half or anything weird like that. All right, check to make sure you have your 8. Okay, so now I'm going to get my blue piece of paper back out and my cardboard tube pieces, and I'm going to play with them until they're in somewhat like the shape of a snowflake. Of course, it might not look exactly like a snowflake. They're cardboard tubes after all, but you do want to make it look something like a snowflake might look. All right, this looks like a pretty good shape for me. As soon as I have it in my shape, I want to grab my Elmer's glue, which is the kind with the orange cap, pick off the dried stuff at the top, and then I want to pick up one of the little pieces of cardboard tube at a time, and I'm going to do something that's kind of tricky. I'm going to try to balance a bead of glue along the edge of my cardboard tube. Now when I do this, I want to put enough glue so it looks white like this, but not so much that it's dripping everywhere. It's okay if it drips a little down the sides, because after all, in a moment I'm going to turn this over and push it down, and then gravity is going to start pulling the glue down towards the blue paper, which in reality is where I want it after all. So it's okay if there's a little bit too much glue, but you don't want to squeeze so hard that there's a huge puddle. This amount that I'm doing here is perfect. Okay, I'm just going to repeat this on all the other cardboard tube pieces. Okay, and then once you're finished, once you've done all 8 of them, then you are done for today. You can find a safe spot to put this in and let it dry, and then save it for next week. When you come back next week, we're going to learn those super awesome quilling techniques that I mentioned at the beginning of our video today. All right, I will see you back here next time at the Heart of a Viking.